gang, mate. Welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. So, we've got satellites going, and I've added a few more boxes for a few more tweaks, and things have improved. Yes, one of the belts is dead. We'll get to that in a second. I had to go clear out. It wasn't a deadlock. It was a small bit of congestion on one of the lower tracks between episodes. So, we're back. But the main thing actually holding up our rocket launching is, believe it or not, the low density structures. We can see that one train is here and the other train is on its way back, and we're just not loading this fast enough, not nearly fast enough. This should be a full belt and a third of a belt. So playing some backtrack, there's something wrong with low density structures. After we walk through pipe hell. And again, backtracking, we can see these belts of plastic, which should be full, are full. And, you know, it's one of those important things, like a missing underground. How the hell is that underground meant to get in there? It's not. Hang on. You output onto both sides. You output onto both sides. You output onto one side. You output onto... You output onto both sides. You output onto one side. You output onto one side. You should output onto both sides. You should output onto one side. That needs to slide over one tile. And that's our fix. That was easy. Copy that. Deconstruct that. Paste that back in. Rinse and repeat a few times. It's good to know that at least, like, if I screw something up, I repeat that screw up throughout a whole build. Oh, this is going to remove our ghosts for our concrete. That's annoying. Ghost down some concrete, fill in these areas just in case. Okay, so that should give us full belts of plastic, which should make low density structures a little bit happier. Actually, aren't you meant to fill... Crap. I think you're meant to move everything onto the left-hand belt to clear up room on the right-hand belt for more stuff. At least that's my theory. Okay. Low density structures, it's still not full. Biggest thing is with builds like this, it takes a while, because like we've got buffer chests. So these previous buffer chests need to fill up to 1 stack each, so 100 each, before the later chests start running. 17, 54, you're full. You're getting there. And of course, till those buffer chests fill up, the last one doesn't start running. This is why there's a little bit of overproduction through every step of this process. So 100, 62, you're now filling up. So hopefully... So you move onto the top side of the belt, you're loading the bottom side of the belt, you're keeping everything on the left-hand side of the belt, or on the top belt rather. You're out of steel. Why are you out of steel? You're making steel, you're making steel, you're making steel, you're making steel. You're making steel. You're not making steel. You're trying to make artillery shells. You're also making artillery shells. Yeah, there was a small contamination at one point. with artillery shells of all things. Steel, steel. Okay, you're doing steel, you're doing steel, you're doing steel. Steel, steel. More steel. More steel. Thanks, night vision, that helps so much. Steel, steel, steel. Steel, steel. Boom, boom. Not making steel. Artillery shells. Yeah. Top build. Steel, 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 steel. Steel. More steel. More steel. All the steel. So all these belts should look pretty much identical now. I like this one. It's backed up. That's a good sign. I'm pretty sure I had at least one steel smelter in all of these that weren't working. Hence why we've got these spotted belts. But when they back up, and again, buffer chests. No, you're full. You don't have plastic. Plastic's died. Why has plastic died? Plastic has died because petroleum has died. Petroleum has died because... Nope. Nope. You have a lot of light oil in you. You have nothing. So you can't get your light oil into the system. Back to fluid problems. Okay. Okay, so what happens? You're backed up on light oil. So what happens if I give you an overflow? If I give you an overflow situation where I say... because now you're going to start emptying. Really, I want it to pop into here. Okay, if I say, if light oil is greater than 20,000, you get to pump. Because technically that's flowing it down this way, but at the same time, it should flow up into here and let us make petroleum. All these have light oil and they have water inputs, so that's good. Heavy still being dealt with. You're now running. This whole... No. You can't get your light oil out. I think that's just a case that the pipe's backed up. Yeah, 20k is probably too much. Let's bring it down to 15,000. And actually, let's put a pump in there as well to drain this pipe. That's better. Shit, I'm looking at the wrong refineries. No, I'm not. What are you backed up on? Light oil as well. How can we be backed up on light oil? That just does not make sense. Alright. We're making petroleum. Petroleum's coming out here. You're signaled off that. You were set to do if over 1k. It's definitely over 1k. Petroleum's coming out. It's being forced down here. Pipe spaghetti. Never mind, plastic's running full speed. I don't care. Which of course means I've got to wait for the buffers to refill before I can look at low density structures. No, plastic's not running. Okay, down to here is full, but it is backfilling. See, that's the other thing. Like, everything has a buffer on a buffer almost. So, this tank's got to fill before that one fills, and all the way back to here before we start getting sideways pressure into our plastic build, or into this plastic build. And yeah, because it's far from a traditional refinery, it's going to require some tweaking. Don't know how much tweaking. We're just going to apply small changes and walk away and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully that fixes our low density structure problem. Now, there is another problem that I never got around to fixing because past me hates me. We're bringing coal here, and I have literally, for both bases, one coal outpost. And I can't be bothered making a second coal outpost. So what we're going to do is we need coal over here, but we only need 3 belts of coal. So what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of an experimentation and see... we can trash those as well. See, what do I need to actually do to get 3 belts of plastic? Same time, I also need to do something about the oil input here. Not really. It seems to be running fine, actually. And yeah, the bots are still going crazy, laying down concrete everywhere. Because, yeah, concrete. Why not? Yeah, this is partially concreted. You can see the speckles. It does have a fairly uniform hazard concrete outline. So the hazard concreting part's going fine. Apart from that. That's inside robot range? Yep, they're just lazy robots. On side note of things that robots have finished, they've finished putting down our solar field, which I didn't actually cover in the recap episode, but 620,000 solar panels. So, quick maths. Calculator. So, 620,000, yeah, multiplied by 42 watts, because that's what a solar panel puts out on average during a day-night cycle, is 2 blah, 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 blah watts. If we divide it by 1,000 to get kilowatts, and then divide it by 1,000 again, we're making, if my maths is right, 26 gigawatts. Maybe it is, considering the solar panels are putting out crap and we're still putting out 8 gigawatts of power. But it also means, basically, all the nuclear reactors I have around the base, I can start decommissioning. Okay, so we have coal. I need to get coal into these belts, and the best way to do that is, do a input priority right, input priority right, input priority right, input priority is screwed. Technically we only need 3 belts. Let's just do 3 belts. Okay, where is this coal? Coal's over here. We need some miners. I have no idea how many miners I need. But I do know I have speed modules, so we're going to use them. Underground belt. I'm so going to get hit by a train. I'm not even watching. Nope, one more. Okay, if I hook that up to there, that up to there, that up to there, I should be able to hold down shift, get rid of the train track, okie dokie, and do... Okay, maybe we put in the miners first. One belt there. Just copy and paste, JD. It's always copy and paste. Leave room for a substation. Paste that in. Substations. No, I actually want to hook in. Well, that's off. I'm just going to leave it as is. I want to hook in their inputs first, so I can actually see exactly how many miners we actually need to fill a belt. We're going to go underground, underground, underground. Okay, delete that one, delete that one. Hook that one in there. That'll go to there. That one will go to there. Hook that up. Hook that up. I'm so gonna get hit by a train. Even though I say it, I don't even start paying attention to the tracks. Alright. Go. That would help. So we need 4 miners. Yeah, 4 miners for a blue belt. Well, 8 miners, because 4 per side. So that means all those come away as savings. And that should get this build back up and running. Now, it's not going to stop trains getting called to this station. They'll still get called because it's reading off the circuit condition. And I don't actually want to change that because that's sort of serves as a backup if any of these miners actually runs out. Like this one's got 156,000. It does have 360% productivity, so that's going to last a while. And as you can see, that miner's not really doing a lot of work. So it is going to last a while, but I've got a pre-made backup ready to go. But if that fires that up, we should get this base back up and running. But whilst we're here, we might as well wander over and fix the oil problem at the same time. Okay, so if I'm just not going to have... If I'm not going to have any train servicing here, that's a straight connection. That's a straight connection. That's an almost straight connection. You're flowing in that way. How about I get you... How about I get you to flow straight in that way with a pump and 2 bits of pipe, and then we'll do a pipe, room for a pump, and hook you straight into that tank. That should work. It's like 4 miners into 4 tanks. Which are all flowing through this central pump, but it should be okay. Should be. We are using 4,000 oil per second, but the flow rate from a tank to a pump to a tank should be enough. Should be. Like I said, I'm expecting problems with this. Now, I blueprinted this from the previous build, so we already know that that's broken. Maybe over a tile, put your underground in, and then just copy and paste. There's one more thing fixed. Smush down some concrete in case I broke some. So that should make that 6 solid belts of plastic. I've been playing too much Bob's Angels with pipes of plastic. Ooh, C block. Okay, so what else is broken? I think absolutely nothing is broken. Believe it or not. This has got to fill this whole line first, because it's a short line. The excess from that comes down and feeds this red circuit, which again is like an excess line. It's only got to supplement this one and this one. I've got to supplement this one, this one and this one. I've got to supplement this belt. So that makes a full belt. The excess goes up there, makes this a semi-full belt to run down to there. That's running, that's running, that's running. We now have low density structures back on the belt. I actually don't want that in my inventory, or that anymore. We're still making satellites. Yes, there was enough of a pause that half our belt of satellites is gone. Do I have a buffer box for satellites? Of all the weird things that I never thought I'd ask myself, do I have a buffer box for satellites? Okay, whilst we're at it, I want to do... You go there. I want to do... I want to do that. And I think I'm going to do the same for these guys as well. I'm just going to put in chests. Yeah, you're going to always have a problem because you're always going to be trying to grab from odd spots. Maybe that's better? I don't know. But we're cranking out satellites. We're cranking out rockets. I still have UPS to spare. There's no giant deadlock. I actually have lots and lots and lots of trains sitting in outposts ready to go. I'm not nearly using as much ore as I thought I would be. We're still waiting on robots to put down piles and piles of concrete. I'm starting to think about looking for a new spot for this next 5 satellites. Oh, actually, space science. So we have crap tons of space science here. Now, there are certain parts of this build that... Okay, so our low-density structures are used to make high-tech science. Our rocket control units are just used for the silos. So that'd free up more red, green, and blue circuits, which could be important if we need to make more modules. And we have our rocket fuel build, which is now here, which is used to make rocket fuel, obviously, for the silo. It's also used to make nuclear fuel for trains, and technically for the stone smelter, because why not? So if I take the space science from down here and ship it up there, it's going to free me up a little bit of steel, a little bit of plastic, and a little bit of copper. Meh. They don't really matter too much. Not for the starter base. It will free up red and green circuits. Again, for the starter base, they might come in handy for more modules if we decide to put down another blueprint. And it will also free up some oil, which again, meh, who cares? This is running from... I don't have an oil unload train. I can't remember where the oil is coming from. It's coming from a pipe. Oh, it's coming from here. This is my oil for the starter base in a pipeline. Like right across the map, around the back of the oil and fed in this way. Yeah. No efficiency whatsoever. So yeah, I could move space science. Look, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to leave this episode here. It's going to be a little bit shorter one, but that's a nice, pleasant change, I guess. Going to have a look around, see what breaks next, and whatever breaks next we'll end up doing another video on. But I actually think I've fixed all the broken things, apart from 2 whole lanes of green circuits for satellites, which, Yeah. Requires 2 more smelter blocks, which requires everything here to be moved over. Like, what? 3, 6, 9, 12... 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20. So it needs an extra 20 tiles. And then it's going to need a lane of iron, which we have right here, and right here. 2 lanes of iron. And 2 lanes of copper, which we have over here. But then I'm not going to be happy with 2 lanes just spaghettiing their way from here to there. So it'll require everything doing a shuffle 2 lanes across. And this whole build here also being moved across 20 tiles, which means ripping the whole thing up, putting the whole thing back down to put in 2 more lanes of green circuits. Which technically I should do, but like I said, this is built for 25 satellites per minute, and we're not making 25 satellites per minute. Not even close. In fact, we're struggling with 10? 13? 12. 6.8. 6.8 is a more accurate number. We're struggling with 6.8, 6.9. Don't forget there's probably 0.8 at home base. So 6 satellites per minute. It means I can double this and duplicate this a few times to get to the 25, because in theory all the belts feed in at that speed. It's just I can't get the inserters to swing fast enough. And that's just down to how inserters deal with belts. If I was doing... Ooh. Okay, so hang on. I got rocket fuel. No, rocket fuel wouldn't work. Low density structures would work? No, not really. So one thing you can do is you can have multiple inserters coming off a belt to fill a train wagon to then feed a assembly machine. Because a train wagon is treated like a box, and assemblers moving box, inserters moving box to assembler is a lot faster. I could use a tank or a car. I could slip a car in here and have like 3 inserters going into a car and then 2 inserters going into the assembler. So there is possible room for improvement. Possible room for improvement, just tweaking the way Factorio works with things to get a little bit more speed out of this system, to get this assembler to run a little bit faster. But realistically, it's down to how fast we can feed it. We're going to be always short on those low density structures or rocket fuel. And if I fix those problems, chances are one of the other inserters is going to start falling behind. So realistically, the best way is just put down a whole nother build. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to end this episode here. We are launching rockets. We are launching rockets, as I said, 5 per minute. 10 minutes. Space science at 3.9. 2.8 because of this dead spot. Unfortunately, a 1 minute graph doesn't really help. It needs some runtime. It needs some runtime to average out. And also, possibly me add a 3rd train. That's something else I need to possibly do. Yeah, there's 1 train coming, 1 train going. So yeah, probably need to add a 3rd train. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it. As I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode where I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do next. Probably fix some other problems. And then, if there are no more problems, find another tight, nice oil patch to plumb straight into our refineries, and then possibly lay another blueprint down over here. This is why we have this clear space. The biters don't actually exist. The solar panels are already built up there. So, yeah, because we've still got UPS to spare. In fact, we're running at, what, 60%? 60% of well, my PC's running at 66% or 2/3 of max speed. So there's a little bit of room to still maneuver. And don't forget, I still have nuclear reactors everywhere that are technically doing nothing because we are completely running on solar. Anyway, I've said I'm going to end this episode 3 times and I haven't yet. So that's it. I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.